Hello, and welcome to another session of Star Trek Adventures, the Voyages of the Kintsugi. We are here in the last mission for this season. There is a plan to come back down the line for another season. Our Dr. Mr. Varric is out today, but we'll plans to be here for the second half of the episode. Not sure whether we'll have our Bajoran character on deck this time or not. But we are taking up with one of those shots of the Kintsugi at warp, and I think we get some shots inside the ship of, people doing those duty tasks of, running drills at yellow alert again, of people working. And when we get the voiceover ward, do you think it's over the ship, or do we see you on the bridge, or where do you think the voiceover comes in?
Yeah, I think it's maybe we see a shuttle coming into one of the shuttle bays, and maybe we see Ward like receiving one of those search and rescue parties back after one of those kind of we came up with zip efforts.
Okay.
So I think it's like as that rolls, we get the voiceover.
Okay. So give us the first officer's log.
First Officer's Log, Stardate 2374. The Kintsugi continues switching between roles, evacuating colonies and stations being threatened by Dominion incursions and patrolling areas just outside the Cardassian military zone. We've heard disturbing second-hand reports about Cardassian reprisals against former possessions and any space suspected of harboring the Maquis. Captain Vate has been called to Epsilon Umber 3 to help with the integration of the Agati into Federation protection. There have been culture clashes between the psionic locales and Federation representatives. The crew is under stress as we've been running double shifts and have also been responding to search and rescue calls, only to find little to rescue. I think I'll have to put our science and engineering officers together to work out something with a probe that'll give us advanced warning and validate those requests with some real-time data. But let me see what Devel and Tatassa can come up with.
And I want to kind of give us a chance to do a little bit of that daily life scene on board the vessel. It was one of the sort of wishes from last time, is to get some interactions scenes, either with PCs or NPCs. So, Devel, where do we see you, and who do you want to interact with? Do you want to interact with Ward? Do you want to interact with one of the secondary characters? What do we want to
Um,
see you doing? In part, we're
I think
kind of showing not necessarily the thing that you're immediately doing, but like how you handle this sort of ongoing pressure. This is, kind of more constant than you've been used to.
I think this is like a little R&R scene. Like, hey, we need to take some time, a moment away. So we're in one of Devel's holodeck programs, and it's a surfing program. She's like in the full, um, what are they, wetsuit because they don't want to spend time painting her body for this.
Right.
So you just like the head up, no problem, easy peasy. Full wetsuit. And I guess we could have Tatasa there.
Okay.
It's like because like they've been working together. It's like, hey, come on, I know a way to relax.
Uh,
Hopefully, it will help you relax too.
and you have the sense that in part she's agreed to do this, like in part because the captain has kind of made it clear that the senior officers need to get along, and also the sense you also have is that she's gone to counseling with Varric, and she is still very stiff and standoffish, but she does agree to go. And I think there is that bit where you've kind of finished up and you're standing on the beach with the hollow water coming in and the sunset, and she's seated there and kind of looking off in the distance, and she says, I don't think I ever, no, I know I never, like, like I went into town in San Francisco like a couple of times, but I don't think I ever went to any. I never went. And she kind of gestures out, looking at the water.
Oh, um, do you want to talk about that? Like, were you just nervous?
No, I. And she will turn to you and she will say, "You were you were raised on Delton, right?"
Yeah, Delta 4.
Uh, I was. I was. I was raised among our people until I was in my early teens, and she'll stop and she says, I did, and I saw a lot of things that I'm not proud of. And I was always worried that, like, if I went out and I was outside of Starfleet, that I would fall back into that.
Well, I mean, just from our very few interactions, I mean, you're not proud of it. So I don't think like you've got to focus on that. Like that's a good reason to never go turn back to it. And it's also like I know so little about like actual upbringing among Orion. My mom was not she would only tell horror stories. So, uh but like, it's and I know we still face discrimination. I mean, your whole that asshole. I've read of it. Ward's told me all about Haskell and that BS that happened. And I've,
And she
back in
stops and she
academy.
says, Haskell was very, very good to me. That's the problem is, like,
Yeah,
he plucked me out. He gave me a chance. He gave me an opportunity for a long time before everything that went down. Like, I the hardest thing I think I've ever done in my life was going and telling them that Haskell was bad. Like, he
yeah,
was at the academy for that last year that I was there. He was like he was a mentor to me.
yeah. And I don't like. I can't even imagine what that betrayal, like him betraying you, feels like. Because like, you know, mentor figures are like important for so many of us.
Do you have a mentor?
My older sister, well, stepsister, but she's sister, kind of. She works. as I scroll down. Security on shit, I forget which star base, but Deep Space something. It's been a while since we've chatted.
Yeah, I guess so. But she'll say, uh, so did she have to use the suppressor drugs?
Oh, um, I don't know. Like it's very interesting and confusing with the whole, I mean, Delta, I think a lot of people aren't really sure about Deltons and if it's a pheromone thing or if it's just they're extremely powerful telepaths. But I think she took the the vow like many others just in case. But like I don't know. It's so confusing because I know like I mean my father was an ambassador with Starfleet, so not technically Starfleet. So like he was allowed to marry and whatnot, but you know, didn't marry someone in Starfleet, clearly. So
I knew a doctor, a Delta doctor, who uh, uh, served in the Bellerophon, and I've never met a person who was more sort of paranoid about connecting than I was.
interesting. Yeah, like and I can understand sort of because I grew up there. Like they're very open about everything. And you know, they are working with many cultures that are not as open. So it's like, you know, they have to repress a lot of their instincts in a lot of ways, it feels like.
And I think that's the point at which we'll hear the, uh, Station Chief to Commander Tatasa, we need you in engineering. And she'll stand up and say Arch, and she'll say, thank you. This was really interesting.
Okay, well, hopefully I helped some. If not, we don't never need to do this again, you know.
She
Just
says,
because we're co-workers doesn't mean we have to be friends.
yeah. She stops and she says, I feel bad that you feel like you have to help. I feel a little bit like I'm letting folks down on that. But and she kind of stops you before you can say anything. I'm trying. And she'll go out the door. Ward, what scene do you want to call?
Um, I think maybe we have Ward arriving in the graveyard. Maybe Tvelic is there. Maybe they've arranged for some kind of after duty drinks. But it's obvious Ward is late, you know.
Right.
Uh, so yeah.
The emergency bartending hologram is right there with your favorite drink set out for you.
Yeah, and I think that's a Ractagino, this coffee
Yep.
coffee-esque um uh liqueur. I don't know how to describe it. Um, so yeah, we have Ford not an addiction. Um, so yeah, I think it's maybe a little bit. It's not crowded in that because people are running double shifts, but I think it's kind of busy, right? There's
Hmm.
people are grabbing what or nor they can. Um, so yeah, maybe Tvelic and Ward are kind of sharing a table with another layer of characters just because people are jammed in, right?
Jolene, do you want to pick up a secondary for this to be at the table here?
Sure, if you know, Ward's into it. Who we got?
It could be one of the NPCs or one of the supporting characters.
I will be my my fave, Kamalo.
Okay.
Been itching for this chance.
So yeah, Tavalic is uh seated there, and we'll say yeah, I'm looking at the notes and like we've still got at least a half dozen more colonies, in the danger zone if they're gonna move people out. Well, not colonies, some of them are research stations and stuff, but I dislike having to go down and get those camouflage blinds because you got to be so careful. You don't scare and force one of the locals to fall off a cliff, and then you got to send your doctor down to fix them or whatnot.
Yeah, fighting the good fight where the Prime Directive is concerned um, has to be done.
Shouldn't you be used to being careful? You you are also a scientist.
I'm not sick like I am a scientist, but it also like it's it's just frustrating. It's
It's
like
yes.
I want to be in the action,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there is a little bit, you know, uh, my Andorian temperament, you know,
Mm,
my antennas are on strong, you know.
of course.
But as our captain would say, no greater duty than saving lives, Tavalic.
Fair enough. How are you handling it,
Um,
Ward?
uh, being a stand-in for the captain whenever he is getting his 5 hour sleep. It's fine. It's fine. I'm surviving. Uh, I just wish that we weren't on the retreat so much. I'm not sure what I can do about that, but
No, agreed, agreed. Kamala, what do you think?
It's difficult to say because for one, the firepower of the Dominion ships greatly outnumbered. Our ship against a squadron of Dominions, it's better to be on the run than charging in against them. We've seen them, we've got reports of them taking down Galaxy classes.
What about
yeah,
the go on?
I mean strategically, right? If we are just absorbing every punch they throw, then we are never going to throw one of our own.
Have you have you heard the rumors that the Dominion hit the Romulans early on in the war? Uh, there's reason I've heard through the grapevine that the Romulans might join with the Federation on this.
I
Oh,
mean, how much of our fleet is spent guarding that zone, right?
that would that would be welcome, but
But
it's hard
dangerous.
to say with the Romulans.
Yeah. I mean, right now they have the wormhole, they have DS9, and fighting them's enough. The Romulans have never known to be trustworthy, I want to say. So,
Well, It's difficult.
Yeah, I mean,
Politically, yes. I mean, they have no one embraces secret police more than the Romulans do.
Well, probably a close run with the Cardassians.
I don't think they're that secret about it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
we always know exactly what the Cardassians are going to do, right? They're going to bully the Romulans. But I mean, the advanced reports I'm getting from Utopia Planitia are quite promising in terms of ships, right? I mean, this new Akira class, I think, is going to kick some ass.
That's the
You know,
question.
maybe
Is the
they'll.
Defiant a thing yet?
Yeah, it
Okay.
is though the cloaking thing is not known, but the Defiant
Okay.
is.
The Defiant class is known about. I mean, yeah. I haven't read much about the Akira class, but getting more Defiant class ships out there would also be great in the war, but making ships takes time.
Mm. Anyway,
What do you look to get back to when this war eventually ends?
I think there is a moment where you see uh Tvilic like and he says, I don't know if I've thought that far. Kind of look at you, Ward.
I mean, I should like to get back to Starbase 75 for some actual R&R, visit my folks, and I don't know, yeah, go on an actual holiday where there's actual food.
Rather than your holodeck uh shenanigans.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not sure I've done very many hours on the holodeck recently, but I passed Tatassa in a wetsuit on the way here, so I mean, at least someone's
A
doing
wetsuit.
something. Yeah.
Like Tvilic will look at Kamalo and say, "What's that about?"
I don't know. I didn't think she was much of a swimmer.
I wouldn't have thought so either. And I think we'll kind of pull the camera back and move on to the ship. I think we get some more shots of people, doing the daily stuff. We see Varric, probably maybe a little montage of Varric meeting with different people, of him doing that counseling thing. So Sabine, uh, where we're at, we're kind of like on the ship as it's on mission, kind of double shifts going on. And since it was asked for last time, we've been kind of doing calls for like scenes that people want to call with an NPC or with a PC. We did Devel and Tatasa on the holodeck, and we just did Ward and Kamalo and our security person in the essentially the bar. So for our engineer, uh, for Savari, uh, what what kind of scene would you like to call? Who would you like to interact with, either NPC or PC?
Well, we do have a chief engineer, right? I mean,
Yeah,
she seems to be quite in demand. Um, but I think maybe Savari needs to have a talk with her about the configurations of the engines she wants to try out that are a little, let's say, controversial.
okay. So yeah, Tatasa has come back down and she will come over to where you're at and she will say, Savari, I've got a few moments.
Oh,
You
yeah.
you said that you had some things to go over with me.
Yeah, I think we could absolutely improve our harmonizers because they're currently doing a binary cycle, right? That I know that is standard. I know that is Federation standard.
Hmm.
However, I when I was having an orb experience, and I know this is maybe a little out there, but I saw that there are more things than the binary. So I have been developing a program or an algorithm that might be a little more fuzzy than zeros and ones and might consider pi or something.
And she will pause, and you see her like she's like about to say something, and you see her kind of stop herself, and she will say, let me, and she'll pull her pad up. Let me allocate you some additional cycles
Oh, thank you.
and go ahead and set up a simulation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And when we do the third shift meeting
Mm-hmm.
in a couple of cycles,
Mm-hmm.
uh, come and tell us what you think you've got, and we'll all take a look at it as a team.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Wow, okay. I didn't expect it to go over this well. Sorry.
She says, I walked into this ship into the position of chief engineer very quickly, uh, and I've been playing catch up at ever since we got here. Because and she'll pause. I love this engine, but if this engine is a kludge, is a a mix of so many bits and pieces.
Yeah.
The chance to actually make some improvements to it would be great.
I mean, we can harmonize this further, and you can see Zavari's brain is going
Well,
all like,
let's start with this. Give us the
okay,
simulations,
okay,
run
okay,
that,
okay,
and
okay.
we'll go over it.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, but yeah, and anyway, thank you.
Yeah,
I've
absolutely.
had,
You're doing great work with the power conduit. So,
yeah, yeah. I mean, I love the vents, I have to say. The what are they called? Jeffrey's tubes.
yeah,
Jeffrey's tubes. They, well, there's a bit of history there. You probably would be bored.
uh, maybe we'll talk about it sometime in the
Mhm.
graveyard,
Okay, cool.
and she will head
Mhm.
off.
Yeah, and Savari will go and do her thing.
And I think we cut to the bridge. We've got our, you know, the shot is that front shot, so we see the usual people on the front cons and stuff as Ward arrives and takes her seat at the command chair, and just a little bit after you sit down, uh, Fargo will turn and will say, uh, "Commander, uh, there's a priority one communique from Starfleet Command."
I'll take it in my ready room.
Okay. And you will go into your ready room, and it's literally just a communique. There's no back and forth, but you'll pull up the message, and it will be from one of the admirals that we've seen previously in the show, and it will say, uh, "Commander Ward, the Kintsugi is to rendezvous with the Bishma. Coordinates to follow. The Bishma has been damaged in a significant Dominion attack. This is not a search and rescue mission, however. The Kintsugi is to take aboard a specialist team and carry out the Bishma's mission that they were on when they were attacked. Details will be provided on site by Captain Tail. This is Priority 1 directive. Please do not broadcast any other details about this assignment beyond your key personnel aboard the ship. Good luck. and then there'll be the coordinates that will be come on screen for you.
Yeah. So I'll make my way out back out to the bridge and give whoever's at the con the order to plot a course, maximum warp to those coordinates.
And it's definitely a look like people are expecting you to then maybe, you know, call out, say what you're doing, what they should be prepared for. And I think then there will be like the person who's on security, jurors, will say, uh, any other further orders to stations, sir, or anything?
Um, yeah, I'm not sure exactly how far away it is, but if it's appropriate to go yellow alert, I will order yellow alert and then
Okay.
senior staff to the ready room, you
All
know.
right. Uh, and go to yellow alert, and I think we will cut forward. We got, a star system in the background. We can see that. And we will see the Bishma. It is not quite a Galaxy class, but it's a significantly large ship. And we will see it hanging there, and it has clearly taken some significant damage to its warp nacelles, some hits across the bridge, and it looks like it got hit bad. But you would judge just from where it's at now and your sensor readings that essentially it got away from whatever it was fighting, and has gotten back here to essentially a more safe space. It's still mobile, but it's definitely, has taken a number of breaches. Um, and as you get there, you will see our Captain Toll will pop up on screen. He's in the NPC tab. We've got some stunt casting there. And he will say, uh, uh, Commander Ward, is it?
Yes, Captain.
Uh, bring yourselves into a parallel position here. Um, if you could beam over to speak with me before I give you the mission details.
Any other senior staff you think would be appropriate for the briefing?
And you see him pause. No.
Understood. I'll be over momentarily.
Um, and we'll assume that you have to hand the con off to Devell, who's the other senior person, probably gets called up from sciences to take the helm. Do you
Yeah.
say anything to Devell as this handover happens here?
No, I think, yeah, Lieutenant Devel, you have the con. Um, stay frosty.
And you'll go down to transporter room 1, and uh, our transporter chief is there. And the transporter chief, as you're getting ready to beam over, will say, uh, Captain, the specialist team that's aboard the Bishma is ready to transport over. Should I transport them over first or send you over first?
You can send me over first.
Okay. And we will see you beam over to the Bishma. There is a certain smell that you identify, something you do on the holodeck, like when a ship has been damaged, that kind of smell of electrical crackle in the air that the filters, the scrubbers can't quite get yet. So there is that sort of post-battle damage atmosphere that is hanging in there. And you will be beamed into the transport room, and you will see that there are a pair of people that are standing there with kind of the over-the-shoulders kits, and you will see a Bajoran lieutenant, and you will see Haskell. Commander?
Hit them. Well, so you back aboard the Kintsugi.
And you'll walk past, and we will cut to you in Captain Toll's ready room. If there were any other ships available, Commander Ward, that were equipped to deal with the situation I'm about to lay out for you, I would have called them. I just want you to know that.
Well, thank you for your consideration, Captain, but we'll do what's required, I'm sure, for the Kintsugi.
We received information that a Cardassian prisoner transport called the Hagent was moving through the former Cardassian DMZ area close by the Badlands. The Hagent suffered some kind of catastrophic failure. We don't know the nature of it yet. But we believe that they went down somewhere in the Fashent 0468 system. We have a window of opportunity. It will not be long before the Cardassians start sweeps of the area. We need you to go in and find the Hagent. We need you to do it cautiously. We need you to avoid Cardassian entanglements as best you can. It's a dangerous navigational area. Your skills, I think, will be an asset to carrying out this mission. You are to get into the system, locate the vessel, rescue any survivors, and take aboard any data or material that is present on the Hagent. There are several members of the former Cardassian Civilian Command, people who objected to the alliance with the Dominion, who are being transported on that vessel. And it is imperative that they are rescued and brought back into Federation hands. We have reason to believe that they have with them in some form intelligence that will be of aid to the war effort. And we believe that there are some other materials that they may be transporting. This has come to us through Haskell.
I was about to ask how we have intelligence of the crash site if the Cardassians do not.
Haskell has contacts among the Cardassians and among other groups that have supplied him with this information. That is why he is going along as a specialist. I did not like having him on my ship, but I was told that he was integral to this mission, and I was told to give him full deference. But we have mission priority. We are the ones giving the orders. You are the one giving the orders. Haskell can advise, but you are in command.
I understand. I'm sure it'll be at least as awkward for him as it is for me.
And he'll reach over to his pad and he will kind of see him turn it off, like essentially turn the recording off. And he will say, if it were up to me, I would have thrown him out the airlock at the first opportunity.
Well, there, Captain, we'll have to disagree. I would have liked to see him rot for the rest of his life.
Be very careful. This mission is clearly of significance, but I don't trust him and I don't trust this. In some ways, I think your past history with him may be a bigger asset.
Well, we've already seen what he really cares about when the lives of his Starfleet colleagues are on the line.
Dismissed. Good luck, Commander. And I think that's the point at which we'll take our first break. We'll take 10 and then we'll come back. So just to give the like previously on that would be for people who've watched the first series on this. The briefing is that in a previous episode when Ward was still just a junior officer, Captain Haskell, who had been her previous commander, arrived with some people to transport as prisoners, and there was to be a prisoner exchange with some Romulan forces. And basically, it was a setup by Haskell to get someone, essentially killed to protect his kind of bad dealings in Starfleet. And Ward, who had kind of been loyal to Haskell, was caught in the middle. But Haskell got caught. He was stopped, and he was essentially brought up for court-martial. However, he had friends in Starfleet, and more importantly, with what has gone on with the Dominion War, uh, he is a veteran captain of a starship. And so he was brought back, and that was a detail that was presented earlier on in the season. Uh, Viewers will note that he is no longer wearing the full captain's pips, but in fact is essentially down to commander status. So technically, he has the same rank as Ward right now, if it were to come to that. So that's just the background detail to put that out there. The other detail about this is that Tatasa was caught in the middle of all of this, and in fact was also betrayed by Haskell. So, in fact, I think that's kind of where we come back. Savari, you're working on, your algorithms, working on your computer program, the power flows, and those kinds of things. When you will hear Tatasa across the engineering bay, uh, louder than you've ever heard her go, "What? What are you talking about?" And you will see that Tavilik, your security chief, is there, and Tatasa looks really angry, like just furious. You've never seen her like this. What do you do, Savari? You are muted.
Yeah, but I will drift over to just, figure out what's going on. Maybe find someone who might know who's not currently cursing and
And
in a state.
yeah, you'll grab one of the other junior engineering people, and they'll say, I don't understand it, but apparently someone from whatever this new mission team is somebody that Tatasa knows and doesn't care for.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Um,
uh,
okay.
but she looks really angry. And I think Tatasa does turn
Mhm.
around at everyone who's staring and does this thing you've never seen her do before. She's like, everybody get back to work.
Okay.
Uh, and your security person, Tivilek, will kind of look around and will see you. You're fairly seen, like you're an experienced person.
Yeah.
Uh, and he will come over to where you're at and he will say, it's Savari, right?
Yes, Link is Savari.
He will say, uh, I don't think we've worked together before. I'm chief of security, Tivilek. Um,
Okay.
if and you see him pause and he kind of looks back at Tatasa and he will say, if 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 anything unusual occurs, please feel free to contact security.
Am I supposed to expect anything unusual to occur? Because I mean, I heard that there was somebody she doesn't like, and I don't think she's. I mean, I imagine she would have good reason to act
And he looks
in
at
this
you dead
fashion.
on with those Andorian eyes and he says, yes, she does.
Oh, okay. I see. I'll
Just
keep an eye out.
just keep an eye out. That's all I ask.
Yeah. Okay.
Duvel, uh, you are there in the command seat when you will see a little while later the doors open and you will see Commander Ward, and you will see another person who you don't recognize, but who's wearing Commander Pips. And he has a Bajoran, seems like an attaché with him, and they will step out onto the bridge.
So yeah, Devel gets up from the command chair because
And
acting commander's on duty.
the captain, the commander that's with Ward will say, she's new.
Lieutenant DeVille, or Chief Science Officer. Um, this is Commander Haskell, uh, who is our
Is it
mission
now?
specialist.
Is he now?
I see my reputation precedes me.
Yes, it does.
There aren't many public court martials. They're popcorn worthy, I think you'll find, Commander Haskell. Um,
Fair.
I think, are you ready to give a briefing or do you need some time to bed in before we set course?
No, I can tell you what I know, what I'm allowed to tell you at this point. Absolutely. If you want to assemble your senior staff, we'll probably need sciences and engineering as well as security. But, and then he seems stop and he goes, but that's at your discretion, Captain.
Well, let's brief the team with as much as you're allowed to tell us then.
And I think we'll cut to the the ready room. Savari, uh, the chief of engineering Tatasa has dispatched you to go to this briefing. Uh, she says,
Okay.
would you please tell the captain I'm in the middle of some delicate recalibrations? If you can take over for me
I
and
think,
relay back to me, all right?
okay. Yes, I can do that, sir.
And yet, Ward Devel, you will definitely notice that Savari is sent, and you will see the the senior security people, the main team. You'll also see that there is a Bajoran who you don't recognize, in a Starfleet uniform, as well as an older, distinguished-looking command person who is seated there.
Hmm.
And he will say, "Shall I begin, Captain?"
Please do.
As you may be aware, there was some dissension within the Cardassian High Command and the civilian government about joining the Dominion on this ongoing conflict. There have always been tensions within there. There have been groups that have been more or less liberal, some that have reached out to the Federation in the past, that have tried for some form of adjustment of the government. When the Dominion and the Cardassians joined forces, a number of those people were killed. There were a portion of those in the civilian government who were opposed to the war and the alliance, but also more moderate and had some popular support. The situation has, of course, changed as the Cardassians and Dominions have succeeded in the war. A few of those senior people within that Cardassian civilian group managed to make their way off of Cardassia. However, they were captured and they were aboard a prisoner transport along with some other prisoners, as we understand it, that suffered catastrophic failure and went down in, and he'll pull up a system map, and it looks bad. Like you can see the gravimetric waves and stuff. It's by the Badlands. Yeah, it just looks like an absolute navigational mess. He will say, my information is that we have a pretty narrow window before Cardassian forces will be able to refocus their attentions and begin sweeps of the sector. The problem is the system has, as you can see, a lot of radiation and other gravimetric interference, which is going to make finding the ship and rescuing the people difficult. Our orders are to rescue any of the prisoners aboard the vessel and gather any information and material present on board the vessel. Captain?
Well, Commander, thank you for the briefing. I wonder, and perhaps it'll be pertinent when we get into the practical situation, exactly how you have gotten this information quicker than the Cardassians, and if you have any intelligence on their search patterns.
And he'll turn to Sarkur. Lieutenant Sarkur, my attaché, has some of the latest intelligence on Cardassian, let's say, search patterns and work.
And the first part of my question?
I am not at liberty to divulge my sources at this point. You are, and you see him stop and he will say, there is at least one person aboard that vessel who I have had contact with. That is what I am at liberty to say at this point. He may speak with Starfleet Command regarding this, and it'll stop. I really can't say more.
Okay, Lieutenant Sarkur,
Captain?
but orders into the vicinity of this planet. Any search patterns that you need, you can apprise us of, which will help us to make best approach.
Should say I have notes on the best ways for us to baffle from Cardassian long-range sensors and general telltale warning signs that one gets when the Cardassians are searching an area. I will brief that over to security, sciences, and engineering so that we can calibrate the sensor array to make it easier to pick up.
Well,
If
perhaps we
that's all
can
right, Captain.
absolutely. Let's plan the route first, perhaps.
Okay.
Hmm.
And I think that's the point at which Haskell will say, you probably have the more up-to-date data on the system itself. We know, uh, the Badlands are a wild area, so I don't have full details on where the ship has gone down. We're going to have to search for it there.
Okay. Any questions? And I'm like opening the floor up to the rest of the command crew.
Do we know what caused the catastrophic failure of the Cardassian transport?
And Haskell will say, I don't believe we know with any certainty now.
Okay.
And do you have theories?
He says, I do, but anything I say would be speculation at this point. There are many possibilities.
Of course.
It's an older Cardassian prisoner transport vessel. Anything could have happened. And Sarkar will say, the upkeep on those is not particularly good amongst the Cardassians. They're not a full military vessel, so they always get secondary repairs from Cardassian High Command.
Okay, well, let's make all those adjustments and plan before we make our course.
Moving at a speed which will allow you to keep your pattern uncertain, try to evade sensor arrays and things like that. Your ETA to getting into the system is about 12 hours.
Okay.
Haskell will say, I will remain in quarters until you need me, Captain.
Very well.
May I ask a favor?
You may ask.
Would you station someone from security on my room?
Almost like you're reading my mind.
Yes. Well, exactly. I just want to be sure
For your
that,
own protection, of
oh, for
course.
my own protection, of course, but also, I don't want there to be any thought that I am acting out of order in this.
You shall have to keep your nose very clean, Mr. Haskell. Hmm.
And I think you do, when you say Mr. Haskell, I think there is a wince from him there for a moment, and he will say, Captain.
Stay here, and a member of our security staff will escort you to your quarters.
Thank you, Captain.
I think
Well,
maybe we
let's assume
see.
that they're cleared out. So if you want to have any kind of conversation with Deval and Savari and the others, let's do that.
Um, yeah, yeah,
How are you holding up,
yeah.
Borg?
Let's do that. Um,
Like,
it's Tuesday. It's just another Tuesday, right? I'm
Mhm.
gonna.
I can only imagine how Tatasa has taken this. I can imagine that Tatas has found out about this news,
Yes, she
Savari.
knows.
Yeah,
She
great.
knows. I don't exactly know. Maybe someone will give me the Cliff's notes, basically, on anything that I should be aware of.
Ward.
Um,
You can speak on this pretty well. But Haskell was Tatasa's mentor and tried to use her as a scapegoat for his treason?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that,
so the cliff notes. Haskell views the Prime Directive as a obstacle to his career advancement.
yeah.
Haskell views his fellow Starfleet officers as an obstacle to his career advancement. That is both the lives and careers of. Um, so yes, personally, I think I have less cause to hit his guts than our chief engineer does. But nonetheless,
That sounds like it makes sense that he would get along well with the Cardassians, right?
Does anyone know anything about this Lieutenant Sarkor?
I don't think so.
All
nothing.
right.
Or have I heard the name before?
I'll do
I
some
think,
research just to see
sure.
if we
Uh,
can figure out any connection between them and Haskell in the past.
uh, well, I'll give you the basics and then you can tell me what you do because I think when you pull up her file, you could see that it is sealed.
Oh, joy. Okay. Oh.
What do you want to do, DeVal?
Ugh. I'm not a security officer. I don't have the training to break through this.
Uh,
But
I'm wondering, would acting captain have the requisite security to unseal it, or is
you
this kind
can
of top secret?
Uh,
you can
well,
try.
let's have you make a command plus uh let's see how I want to do this for you. Uh control plus command roll, Ward.
Okay. Is Starfleet protocol
Yeah,
useful
actually I
here?
think that's perfect actually.
Okay, this is what Ward is built for, almost like not piloting anymore. Let me roll these dice. That is one success. Yeah.
You will hit a wall. Uh and eventually, you'll get a hold of somebody that you know and they will say, I wouldn't push too hard on this.
Understood. Um, and I'll kind of address Savari and Deville specifically, and like, well, you're going to be working with Sakura to set up all these extra subroutines and procedures, so you'll know more than me within a few hours, I think. Excuse me, I have to get down to engineering.
Uh so we've got a couple mechanical tasks that I want to like do the Starfleet things both for Deval and Savari. Uh, for Savari, one of the things is that you're going to be heading into an area that is close by the Badlands, which means a lot of strange and unusual energies, a lot of difficulty protecting the ship, and so in sort of like technobabble terms, and we'll go to a mechanical role on this. What are you doing to protect the ship, to change the ship's shields or structure or some new fields to help protect the Kintsugi when you go into this dangerous area? You are muted.
Muted.
Yeah, sorry. These are ionized nebula structures. So I think what we need to do is you need to change the calibrations on our shields, but this is not a, we can't do this in a static fashion. We have to change our shields fluctuations in a dynamic fashion. So we need to program some sort of connection to the sensor arrays. Um, yeah, to produce the correct harmonization or not harmonization. We don't want to harmonize with the Badlands. That would be not entirely great. I mean, it would be interesting, but this is not what we're here for. So I will stop myself.
Okay. So this is creating a trait.
Mm-hmm.
It normally is difficulty 2.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Badlands that its trait is
Mm-hmm.
challenging. So
Yeah.
it's a difficulty 3 to do this.
Ooh, wow, okay. That's
Uh,
hard.
you are engineering
Mm-hmm.
plus I think control.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Uh, engineering plus control, and you
Mm-hmm.
get also to use the ship's die for a third die, which will
Mm-hmm.
be
Okay.
uh let's see. We'll say computers
Mm-hmm.
plus security, so a 13 or less for the ship.
Okay. Okay.
So let's have you roll your 2 dice.
Okay.
Do you think you have a focus that's applicable?
Uh, maybe the power systems, because I mean the shields are kind of the power systems are what creates the shield, right?
Okay.
So
Well,
we need to.
tell me how you're modifying the power systems to make that like the primary
Okay,
function
so
here.
we need to talk to the warp engine first, and then we can and there will be a lot of cables going into the warp engine, going out of the warp engine. There will be a bit of a mess. If somebody can take Shatasa and because this will irritate her. I'm pretty sure this will irritate her. But the good thing is the Kintsugi is made up of so many different parts. We need a lot of adapters, yes, but that is also an advantage because we can create loops like the holding basins that you have for floodings, like redundancy loops where excess energy can go into, so that the shields can remain
Okay.
kind of an even power output.
I like it. So let's roll your 2 dice.
Mm-hmm.
You're rolling 15 or less. If you roll a
Yeah.
5 or less,
Mm-hmm.
it is 2 successes,
Okay. Let's see how that goes. Nope, there is one success.
1 success.
It's not great. Because I
And
get another roll with the ship, right?
you get 1 die for the ship.
Okay.
13 or less, and a 3 or less is 2 successes.
Oh, okay. Gosh. Let me check if I have a talent that will help here. Nope. No, probably not. No. Okay. Yeah. Like this one, it's an 11. It's a success. So I've got 2
2
successes.
successes. So it's more challenging than
Oh,
you would have liked.
uh,
You've made some changes,
yeah,
but you can tell that like the Badlands are going to be a real challenge on this.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I'll say this. If I had more time, I know I don't, but
yeah, it's a very narrow range. You would need at least another 24 hours to really do what you need to
yeah,
do here.
yeah, yeah. I will work on this, though. I mean, you never know.
Absolutely. Devel, uh, again, we've got this interference in the system. So the real challenge is going to be with that going on in a system that you don't know, trying to find this needle in a haystack here. So what are you doing
I think she's
to
working
help
on
with
a
that?
probe to try to help, like, map out a probe that we can launch to map out, through the currents for safer travel.
Okay. So are you worried about the maneuvering and travel, or are you worried about finding the ship? Is
Well, I
this a
mean,
sensor thing or a travel thing?
I guess it's a sensor thing.
Okay. Uh, so we'll let you use science on this. Science plus reason, let's say.
Fucking reason. It's always kicking my
Or
ass.
control. Is
I'll
control
do
sound better?
control. I love
Okay.
control.
Okay.
It gives me one extra point.
Okay. And we'll say sensors plus science from the ship, which is a 14 or less,
Okay,
with a
so
3 or less as double.
yeah. Uh, None of my focuses or talents help, so I'm looking for 15 on my dice, and then you said 14 on the ship die.
I said 14 on the ship die, yes.
Okay. Third, the third die is the ship die.
Okay.
Two successes
Two
from me.
successes. So you will be able to create a like sensor probe trait, we'll say.
Yeah, okay.
That feel right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and Ward, like this is a significant piloting and navigational challenge, but there's also the command thing. What is it that you want to be doing to prep for this?
Um, yeah, I think going through these kind of Cardassian sweeps, like their normal search routine and kind of any probes that they might send out, basically picking the right route to avoid leaving any trail that they could come across
Hmm.
if they're doing that kind of scans looking for a downed ship. So I think this might be like a chance also to talk to Sarkor um, and get a read on her. But I think that
Sure.
might be
Well, yeah,
maybe
let's
if I
do it.
roll well enough, I could ask a question with momentum
Exactly.
and all that kind of stuff.
Uh, Control plus con, let's say, with
Yeah.
your astronavigation as a
Yeah. Yeah. Um, that makes sense. So let me roll that. Wow. The dice are not loving me today. That is nothing.
that is nothing. Uh, so I think that like part of the problem is, yeah, Sarkor has details on this, but like that you have several like moving problems happening at the same time, trying to move through these areas, trying to navigate the Badlands, trying to deal with the patterns of the sensor sweeps, and it's just the variables are changing too fast. You're able to map something out, but not something that you believe will like give you the advantage that you would like to have here.
Yeah, I mean, we probably end up doing something that is just not efficient, that is like safe rather than efficient, right? With a wide kind of looping approach.
Now, I am because that you rolled a 19, which with this situation, that would be a complication. You may, if you wish, uh, spend determination to reroll.
Um,
You also haven't rolled the ship's die yet.
oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. Well,
So
let me roll the ship's die first, I guess.
okay, let's see here. So the
Um,
ship's die would be engines plus con, so 15/4.
was it two?
So that's two successes. Um,
Hmm.
so you can get what you want there. You can get a trait, but you won't be able to ask a question.
Yeah, let me spend that determination.
Okay.
I always have determination spend regret, right?
Yes.
So I think
Remorse.
maybe this is like a maybe this is kind of a flip on the usual trust must be earned. This is me like uh showing more of myself to Sarkur than I might usually because I'm kind of in my element and maybe like almost allowing her to get a read on me you know.
Okay. Absolutely.
Um, so let me re-roll those 2 dice and see what happens. So there's 2 successes
Okay.
on those re-rolls.
So you will get a trait. What do you want to call that trait that you've created for the the travel and the flying?
Um, let's put it like, um, you know, is it optimal route or something kind
Yeah,
of very
that seems
straightforward like
fair.
that?
And then you've
Um,
got 2 momentum.
yeah, so let me ask a question of Sarkor, and then maybe I'll put one in the momentum pool.
Okay.
Sorry, I get to put a second one because whenever I spend or earn determination, I get another momentum to
Yeah.
bank.
So you have 3 momentum.
Um, so yeah, my question of Sarkor is, is she attached to Haskell, or is this just a mission for her? I guess, can I trust her is the real question.
I'm going to answer that question sort of obliquely. And you still got 2 momentum, so feel free to ask a follow-up on that. I think one of the things you will realize as you are interacting with her and doing this is you're pretty sure she's not actually Starfleet. And I think there is a moment when you will kind of realize, oh, she's Maquis. She definitely has that vibe. The way she's talking about the Cardassian, the knowledge that all of that stuff says to you that she's a Maquis. You've got 2 momentum.
No, I think I'll bank that.
Okay.
And maybe I'll share that kind of insight to Savari when we next cross paths, right?
Okay. Uh let's
Um,
yes.
can I do one side thing before we go?
Yeah.
Because I would like to set an alert system to find out if someone from one within the ship is messing with the ship.
Okay.
Because from what I've known about this, heard about this dude, I know about sabotage, and these two are a very good position for sabotage.
Absolutely. So like you want to set up an alert
Yeah,
if there is some sort of sabotage attempt
yeah,
on the ship itself.
yeah, or anything that tries to mess with my ship.
Absolutely. So that feels like engineering plus, let's say, uh, insight,
Oh,
but you've
okay.
got sabotage as a focus.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder, I don't think I can use the I know my ship move, can I, ability?
Uh, no,
Because we
because
don't have
we're
a,
not looking for a problem
okay,
here yet.
okay. We're looking, okay. 14, and I roll 2 dice, right?
2d20 and 14s are success. 5 or less is 2 successes.
Yeah, okay. Let's see, come on.
Those are d12s.
I've got 4 successes and both are ones.
Well, but those are d12s.
Those are d12s.
Yeah,
Damn it. That's a pity. That
I
was such
know.
a good roll.
Like,
That was such a good roll. I think 2 of those. Well, it's 1 success then.
1 success. So unless you'd like to spend your determination to re-roll. Actually, no, you've still got the ship's die for this. Let's do that first because you've
Okay.
got 1 success right now.
Okay.
So let's say for the ship's die, it's going to be sensors plus science, so a 14 or less.
I would like to get rid of this. Okay.
1d20.
Yeah. Nope.
So no.
Ship does not. The ship is busy with the whole um calibrations of the
Yeah,
shields.
I think you're right. I think absolutely the
Or
work that you're doing
I
to
can spend determination to
yes, you can if you
re-roll,
wish.
right?
Yeah, just tell me which value.
I
You have one
think let
determination.
me. mm, I mean, I've got a weird instinct about this whole, especially about the Bajoran woman. There's something I don't know. I don't know.
Absolutely. Sure.
So I will trust my instincts.
So you can re-roll one of your personal d20s
Mhm.
and then the
Yeah.
ship's d20.
Oh, cool. And I also trust my determination. And I will do that. And I may gain 2 benefits listed, whatever that means.
There's a couple other things if you were doing in
Okay.
combat that you could get
Oh, okay,
benefits
okay.
for.
Okay, cool. So I'm re-rolling my die and the ship's die, right?
Yep.
Okay. There it is.
So that is 2 successes plus
Mhm.
another success. So that's
Mhm.
3 successes
Mhm.
plus your original is 4 successes. So 2 of those successes go into
Mhm.
creating a, let's say, secured systems or a
Mhm.
system alert. Let's put it as
Yeah.
a trait
Mhm.
here.
Yeah.
And then you've got 2 more momentum
Okay.
that you can ask to ask questions or put it in the momentum pool.
The one question I would ask is to see, I forgot her name already. I apologize. Sarkor
Hmm.
she's been working with the system, right?
Yes.
And Haskell has been sitting in his room. And I just would like to know if they've made any attempt to, I don't know, to do things. Is
No, I
Haskell
think that's
sitting?
fair. You will check very carefully over
Mhm.
Haskell's thing.
Mhm.
He is very carefully not beyond the most basic, interface with the system.
Mhm.
Is you definitely have the feeling he is like being very circumspect and being very careful not to
Mhm.
make and do anything that would make him look suspicious.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Sarkar definitely seems focused on the mission, like
Okay.
what is being done. She
Okay.
definitely is, helping out Ward and working with those systems. It doesn't seem to be doing anything that strikes
Okay.
you as suspicious.
Okay. Cool. Yep.
And that last momentum, do you want to put that in the pool then?
Yes. Put that
Okay.
in the pool, please.
Okay. So we'll go up to 3. And so we will see you arrive in the system. We've updated the CG and graphics from the first episode of Voyager. I don't know if you remember the Badlands had the weird energy waves going like you were in some kind of storm and things. It's a little bit like that, but we will see you head in system. And uh, what this is a to find this ship, to locate this vessel, is a difficulty 4 task, brought down to difficulty 3 because of the sensor probe. Uh, and that's sort of the first step. You're going to find it, but not hitting that 3 difficulty is going to push forward the clock on other complications. Does that sound fair? Uh, so this does feel like our science team's work, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So again, the ship's die for sensors plus science will apply. So a 14 or less for that.
Okay. And what am I rolling? Or am I
Uh,
just rolling a ship die?
so I
That's
think
just
that's the ship's die. So I
yeah.
think for you, we're again
Science and
science and reason.
all right, well, 14's across the board.
Yeah. So let's roll your dice first.
I am going to spend my determination first.
Okay. So tell me
Yeah.
what value you're using and how do we know that you are leaning into this?
Act with confidence even if you don't feel confident.
Okay.
Yeah, look, the Badlands, and we know how I'm a terrestrial space scientist.
Right.
I'm like, all right, but Haskell's here. There's an important mission. We've got this other Bajoran who's shady, if by association. And look, this is still a rescue mission, and this is what we do.
Absolutely. So yeah, we get two successes even before you roll.
All right.
Let's have you roll
So,
your two dice. And the third one, you get the ships.
yeah. All right. So two more
Two
successes.
more successes, so that is exactly what you need. Uh,
Actually,
so
one extra, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, one extra, so you could put
So
that
put that in
momentum,
the
or you can
pool.
ask a question. Okay, so put that in the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see you. The probe goes out. We see you doing the scans, and I think that this is the point at which the ship is dealing with the battering from the
Oh wait,
Badlands energy at this point.
can I spend it, use that extra success to ask a question?
Yes, you may.
All right. Are there any other ships in vicinity?
No, there are no other vessels in system
Okay.
beyond the. You will pick up on one of the sort of inner planets closer to the sun. Signs of warp leakage that are very difficult to pick up, but you will finally pinpoint those and determine where that is on that planet. But the probe goes around and doesn't pick up any other vessels in the system.
All right. Then my follow-up question, because I spent one and I'm
Yep.
studious. What should we be on the lookout for?
Uh, there's you don't pick up any of the signs that you would normally have gotten if this ship was attacked, like ionizing radiation or anything like in system. And given, you've calibrated these sensors very well, so you
Mhm.
think you would have picked that up. So the real question is, like, what happened? Why did they go down? Like that's a big unanswered question here that I think you should be concerned about.
All right.
Okay.
So then I get to trigger my rapid hypothesis, I guess.
Okay.
So I immediately create a trait representing my theoretical understanding. Um, this is real guesswork, but like, I mean, th theorizing that there was internal sabotage. That's
Hmm.
that's my theory because
Okay.
there's no signs of attack, and it doesn't seem like the Badlands are banned, but it does seem like the damage is caused by the natural phenomena around here. So
So like saboteur on board.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Put that in as a trait. And then Savari, your department is like, again, a difficulty four thing with the possible consequences for failures being about that
Yeah.
clock going up,
Mm,
for you, boosting the system
mm,
to deal
no.
with the energies of this.
Okay. Okay.
So control plus engineering for your die.
Uh-huh. Okay. That's good. That's two. Can I use a momentum?
If you spend momentum before you roll, you can get an extra die,
Mm,
yes.
okay. I think I would do that because I mean
Absolutely.
it's kind of important,
Yeah, so
I guess.
3d20.
It's really 20. Can I still do the power system thingy?
Yeah, I think that's appropriate.
Okay, cool.
So 3d20, you need
Mm,
15s or less,
mm, okay.
and then we'll do the ship's die separately.
Okay, I've got two so far.
Two successes, and then the
Mm,
ship's die
mm,
is going to be a structure plus security, so an 11 or less.
okay. No.
So just 2 successes on that.
Yeah,
Uh,
dice do
so
not like me right now.
why don't you roll me 1d20?
Okay, that's an 8.
That is an 8. You will suffer a breach
Oh,
on sensors.
no, no, sorry.
What does that look like? Like what happens? Is it debris that gets through? Is it a wild energy blast? Is it something else? What do we see?
I think it's a radiation flux thing that will interact with the shields in a manner that was too fast, basically, for our systems to catch up, and then it goes into our systems, and some of the fail safes catch it, but not all of them, and that's when the sensors start
Okay,
sparking.
absolutely. Uh, and then Ward, this is about you laying the course in, getting it set, executing that to get the ship uh, to to this spot.
Okay, so I guess are we talking control plus con?
Yes. Oh, and as Jolene just pointed out, actually, you have redundant sensors. So there immediately the ship goes to repair that breach. That's literally the one system that you have a redundancy built in as a ship's talent. So it was a good roll, Savari.
So I will take a momentum.
Okay.
Um,
So
and
3d20.
ships and the ship's die, I'll roll in a different color.
Okay.
Okay, so
Helm operations is appropriate.
yeah, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
5 successes. So you will get a success back to ask a question or throw back into the momentum pool. Like, what do we see? What do we see on screen of the Kintsugi flying through all of this crazy stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think the optimal route that we had was obviously built in, kind of ignoring the very dynamic system. And so, like, if we were to follow it blindly, we have to like go through this hole in the middle of the asteroid, and I do that anyway, you know,
Yeah,
um, uh, because why not, you know? And I think we have to rotate the Kintsugi so that it fits in just right. You know, it's maybe we see um, maybe like Mahoney, who is actually at the con. You know, I need to put a hand on his shoulder
hmm,
to keep him from being wiser, right?
perfect. And we will see you then, like come into orbit around this small planet. Immediately, you can pick up that this is a hot planet. There are traveling electrical firestorms in the atmosphere. It's not a, standard livable planet. You can pick up where the ship is down, the Cardassian prisoner transport. You can pick up that there are 15 life signs on board the ship. There are some places where there's some breaches on the ship. It does seem like it's split into different compartments, like the persons are grouped there. Uh, uh, the difficulty is that at least as the ship is right now, you can't transport down into it or out of it, but you can transport down to the planet. And we're going to take up with that issue here after our 5-minute break, okay? So you are in orbit above this planet in the Faychent system. You have scans and location of the vessel. You have an approximate number of life signs. You know a little bit about the breaches. Got the transport. It can transport down to the planet, but you can't transport into the vessel itself. Ward.
Yeah, I think it'll be Haskell back into the ready room, and I think it'll be Lieutenant Duval. You'll be assembling your away team, make it security heavy. Um, I think this will almost be like Ward would love to be there to keep an eye on Haskell, but kind of has to almost give him enough rope. Uh, she has to trust him, I think. But I guess more or less she's trusting Deval. So I don't know. Um, so as yeah, I think and again it'll be Haskell will outline what he needs to happen, and then Deval will be in command of the away team. That's all right, Jolene.
Of course.
Haskell will say, we can assume that there are still Cardassian crew survivors, so we will need to go in armed. So once we arrive, discretion may be the better part of valor for them. He will say, Cardassians have a sense of hierarchy and order, so they will not have killed the prisoners, because that would be a blameworthy offense. However, that situation may change when we get on board, if you understand my meaning. That at that point, they may take the initiative to cause problems.
I take your meaning.
I would suggest we take an engineer with us.
Yes, I was already planning.
Ah,
I think
I,
our operations
I apologize.
I think our operations chief will do well in this situation.
Any other questions for me, Captain? Lieutenant?
What's the planned personnel aboard? How many of these 15? Uh, what percentage of the that does this 15 comprise?
I don't know. It's going to depend on survivors and count. But there were at least 4 members of the civilian council and at least a handful of other prisoners as well. And I say that at least because I don't know what the numbers are like.
Lieutenant Sarkor, you're Haskell's attaché. Will you be joining us on this away mission?
Absolutely.
Hmm. And what is your area of expertise?
I am combat trained.
Okay.
And I think, for certainly the people who I've shared my suspicions with, that is like almost that is, I mean, maybe that's confirmation bias working at its finest.
Yeah.
Starfleet person would have said, "I'm a security officer," right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So who's the away team then?
I think Tvilic is like our go-to.
Okay. I
Uh,
guess the question is, Savari, do you want to, Sabine, do you want to take Savari, go on this away mission?
Devel's already said Chief of Operations is coming.
Okay. No,
That's
we
yeah,
me.
but if
we always
if
ask the player.
yeah,
Always
if
Oh
ask
you
the
want
no,
to
player.
I
play,
would love to go on this away
Okay.
mission,
All
of
right.
course.
okay.
Before we go, however, I will tell Ward about my alarm system, right? So if anybody messes with the ship, she will know.
Okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah.
And Ward, who do you want to play?
Yeah, I guess Tvilic
Okay.
makes
Yeah.
sense, right? Although I was kind of wondering
Hammaker?
Does Hammaker come along? I don't know. No, I'll be
Do you
Tvalik.
want Hammaker to come along? Because we
I
could
mean,
take him
Hammaker.
instead of Tvalik.
Uh,
Well, it's basically you could Tavilla can go, but you can play Hammaker if you want, Ward.
yeah, yeah. Um,
It's about
no, I
who
guess
you'd enjoy playing in the scene.
yeah. I mean, I think I'll play Tvalik.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've played Tvalik.
Okay,
Okay. And I'm gonna do my expedition expert because we have the two momentum. So,
right?
Yeah, yeah.
and it's an away mission.
Okay. So how many rerolls does that get you?
5.
Okay. Uh, so we will see the team, a half dozen or so. Again, the camera works so that the numbers are kind of a little uncertain. As you beam down, you have those like rebreather masks on. Uh, yes,
Are we like in uniform or are we wearing the infiltrator costumes?
that's up to you.
Ward, what do we do? What do we get to wear the all black cat suits?
Um,
Is this an off the books mission or not?
I think we should wear our Starfleet uniforms
Okay.
because I'm inclined to. I mean, I won't say let's show our colors, but they may they may be inclined to like surrender as opposed to just shoot if they see as they might if they just see us in commando outfits or whatever.
D
So let's.
Yeah, okay. Devel, you will definitely see that there is a moment where Haskell does have a word with his attaché as you're getting ready.
Hmm.
Uh, and she doesn't look pleased by what he says. But then she'll nod. And Haskell will definitely like he will say, uh, you have command of the mission, so I will you tell me what to do and I will do it, Lieutenant.
Good to hear, Mr. Haskell.
And we will see the group beam down. We've got a nice painted backdrop for the skyline of the planet, but we can see we've got an overlay of the heat immediately. We know that it's hot out. There's dust blowing, and we see you approaching through this haze. The team there. You've got a choice here, Devel. You could try and head towards the back part, which is probably where the prisoners are at. And there are a couple of units that, based on your scans, that you could try to enter in one of those two. You could try to go in through the cargo area, which keeps you less exposed. Maybe he has a chance to see what's going on there, and such. Or like if you want to definitely deal with the Cardassians and get that secured, you could try and get in through essentially the forward area. You know that they are probably sensor blind on you right now.
Hmm.
They probably have internal sensors, but right now, coming up to the ship, they probably don't have a sense of you. So, how do you want to approach this, Devel? You are in charge.
I think the rescuing the prisoners is priority.
Okay,
So that's the approach.
absolutely. Uh, so do me a favor and roll me a d20.
I know. I don't like the sound of this. It's a 4.
A 4. Okay. Uh, so uh, I think that is probably Savari. You're going to have to handle like uh, breaching this area
Sure.
without letting the atmosphere out and being able to get in secure without any problems.
Mhm.
Uh, so it's
Okay.
definitely an engineering task.
Yeah.
and probably daring, I think, at this point.
I like that because you know what? This is a Cardassian ship, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think I have been working with this kind of tech and opening these kind of things up without people realizing that this is what I am doing.
Absolutely. So difficulty 2, 16 or
Okay,
less.
okay. And can I use sabotage as my focus here?
No, because I don't think you are trying to sabotage the ship. You are
Okay,
trying to get in with some care.
okay. Okay, and I get to roll 2 dice and I need 2 successes, right?
Yep.
I think, do we have momentum? No, we don't. Okay, then I can spend one. Okay, then
You can
I'll
give me a
just.
threat if you would like an extra D20.
I mean, let me check something. Yeah, if I succeed, I gain bonus momentum. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, sure, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Then my threat goes to 8.
yeah, it's not.
3D20.
He's so giddy about
I
that.
mean, yeah, 3 successes.
Okay. So you will get uh, a momentum you can put back in the momentum pool.
And I also get a bonus momentum
Okay.
because of
What do you
my
want to use?
ability.
You want to ask a question, which is what you probably use that bonus momentum
I
for.
think I would like to ask a question because of the security systems that the
Sure.
ship has. Because it's a Cardassian ship, they have internal security systems, right?
Yeah.
And I would like to know, are they damaged? And if not, can I damage them?
They are damaged. They
Good.
are, in fact, you will realize that the like internal sensors are actually down on the ship as well.
Mhm. Okay. Okay, cool. I will convey this to develop and then we'll absorb them and open the door.
Uh, Open a segment. Group will come down into it, open up another area. Fields come up to secure, so there's no air loss. There is some the spray in of the dust and things like that. And we will see you come down into this prisoner holding chamber. And as you come in, Bell and the others are behind you, the lights will come up, and you will see that there are a group of uh, 5 Bajorans in here, and they will look up at you, and one of them will say, Starfleet."
Does
Uh,
Savari know any of them?
let let me have you roll me a what? Let me ask you. Let me see. Do you have any momentum in the momentum pool?
Yeah, I
One, I
just put one
think.
in there. I just put one in there because I get a bonus momentum.
Do you want to spend a momentum to know one of them?
Yes,
Okay.
if that's okay. But
I'm
yes, I
I'm
do.
into it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh, then
I know
I
one of
I
them.
think that you will lock eyes with the the Bajoran who seems to be kind of in charge, this young
Mhm,
man. You know his name is Kosha Mind,
mhm.
and you know that he is a kind of famous Maquis terrorist.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. Yeah, cool.
You probably like worked in the same circles of knowing how to
Mm,
sabotage and cause
mm,
damage and explosions and things like that.
yeah.
And he will sort of give a slight smile when he sees you and recognizes you there.
Mm.
Um, and he definitely recognizes Sakur as well. And he kind of steps forward and he will say, "I don't know how Starfleet ranks work, but who's in charge?"
I am
Um,
for this mission.
The Orion, and you see him turn and look, and behind the Bajorans, you'll see another figure step up, and you will see that there is an Orion in here. And she looks surprised to see an Orion. And
okay. Okay. Weren't there supposed to be Cardassians here? I'm just saying this out loud. It's not really a question or anything, but
That
I'm
is what we were told.
Haskell will say, there's another prisoner section.
Hmm,
Before we get to the dubious nature of things, he says, oh, there is another prisoner section.
of course.
And uh, Sakura definitely moves to kind of like get the Bajorans organized. And Haskell will say, should we keep the Bajorans here or should we move them to a transport point, sir?
I think moving them to the transport point is the best choice in this situation.
Who do you want to have oversee that transport?
Uh, Tvilic?
Like clearly Sakura has stepped to say essentially to say, yeah, I'll be glad to do that.
Yes, I know. Like, Tvilic, would you back up Lieutenant Sakur? She says with heavy sarcasm.
Okay.
And the lieutenant.
Yeah,
Tvilic?
and Tvilic says, "I'll be back in a minute," and hefts the phaser rifle like like he usually does,
Okay.
non-threatening, but everyone understands.
Uh Tvilic, you will see that there is a brief conversation that happens between this mind figure and Sakur, like a quick exchange of words, and like her eyes narrow, and you'll see her nod about something. Um,
And yeah, I'll communicate up and say, Kintsugi, security team to transporter room 2, 5 Bajorans coming up for debrief.
Understood. Well, listen, Tvilic has a code phrase that says secure these people immediately, right?
Yeah, yeah, for
Uh,
for debrief.
for
Yeah,
debrief. And they will be beamed up, and you will immediately get like through your comms a confirmation that they're not armed. Like, because of course they can pick that up in transport.
yeah.
We'll cut
We would have
back
been
to,
very surprised if they had been armed
yeah,
aboard the Cardassian vessel, but
right.
hey.
Uh, Savari, Devel, you can kind of move out Haskell and the rest of the team behind you into, we've got the classic sort of orange, dark, metal, kind of bronze look Cardassian ship. Uh, and you can see that from here you can move to the other prisoner thing. You can move back to cargo, or you could move up to deal with what are clearly like you can tell that because of the breaches, the two prisoner areas were locked down, and then the actually Cardassian command people are probably in the front compartment of the ship.
Just a quick question. Are
Yeah,
we at the point in the series where we know that changelings don't bleed?
I think that is known. Yeah,
Okay, okay, cool. So I assume that the people up there will do the proper testing.
yeah. Certainly that whole thing of the changelings on Earth happened before the Dominion War broke out fully.
Yeah.
Uh,
Plus, aren't they bad at like looking like other
oh,
sentients?
oh no, they can look
It's
Oh,
perfectly
just
like that.
Odo's bad?
Odo's just bad. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
yeah.
And because of the other ladies, just like, hey, I'm doing this to look like you.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember yeah, I guess there was the other one, but
Oh yeah, no, they're able to completely duplicate other people.
all right. Okay. Odo's just bad.
Yeah.
All
Uh,
right.
so what's your direction, Devel?
Yeah, I feel like the prisoners are still priority. If we
Okay.
can get the prisoners out of here, then we can come back to offer the Cardassians rescue.
Okay. Uh, it is no work then, if that's your intent, uh, for you to move across, check security, for Savari to, disable any kind of alert that they would get that these doors have been opened, and you will open up to a nicer prisoner transport area. Like
Of
the
course.
Bajorans were very much in a, here's your slop and your seats. This is much more the luxury prisoner transport. And you will see that there are a group of five Cardassians who are there who will look up and be surprised to see you. And one of them will look, maybe looks a little worried when he sees a Bajoran among your number. Uh, and the one of them will say, I am Minister Cart Drick. You are?
Lieutenant DeVell of the USS Kitsugi.
Excellent, excellent. I hope this is a rescue.
Yes, we've been made aware of the situation, and
Excellent.
if you'll
What
follow
should we?
us,
Yes, please. And
yes.
he will gather them together. There are him. There are three people who definitely have the look of civilians in that they are kind of like uh, scared out of their minds.
Hmm.
And then there's another Cardassian that Savari you will recognize. Uh, you will see Gul Ino Koshko, because
Oh.
a friend of your father's.
Mhm. Yeah.
And she will look, and she looks very surprised, and she will say, Linka, you're muted.
Lieutenant Lincoln of Starfleet.
Oh, you
Please
have?
accompany these people to be rescued.
And she'll turn to the others and say, we're in good hands. I know her father. And
I will go and check a panel or something.
okay. And they will move. And again, Tvilic, uh, you can get them beamed up. Uh, Devel, how are you like? Well, like let's deal with the Cardassians who are left. How are you like? What is the play here for them?
Um, she's trying to get a read on them, like talking to them, like you've been treating, clearly you've been treated better than some of the other prisoners. She's trying to like, figure out, okay, what Haskell told us, what was on the level, and or was this just a cover?
Nothing has seemed he's told everything he's told you is true except he didn't. I mean, he didn't mention
Omitted
the
some,
Maquis, but
yeah,
he may not have. He did say there were other prisoners, so he either
okay,
didn't know or he did admit that.
okay,
However, the presence of the Bajoran Maquis does suggest to you that that was at least in the cards.
yeah.
Um, uh,
But these
Minister
Cardassians,
Dirk will Drick will say to you the name of the commander of the vessel is Gul Bilat.
all right.
We think that there are three or four of them left. We know that there were some casualties.
And I'm speaking to Minister Drick.
Yeah,
Okay, Minister Drick. How likely is it that they will turn away our offer of aid?
address yourself to Gul Bilat, and I think you will find that he is amenable.
Thank you. So let's get these guys beamed up
Okay,
into safety before.
absolutely. Uh, Again, you notice a certain amount of tension between Savari and the Golkoshko, uh, but you will get them beamed up again. Tvilic,
Yeah. Are you okay? And once they're
Yeah, I
away,
think Tvilic clambers in, like ready for loaded for bear, and then has to bring them all out again, and says exactly the same thing, that he did for the Bajorans,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We'll see that Sarkor definitely keeps her hand close to her phasers around those Cardassians like
hmm
I
Oh,
would
she
rather.
she didn't beam up with the
No, she came back.
Bajorans?
Yeah. No, she's
Okay.
with you still.
All right.
And I don't know
So,
whether Sarkor notices that Tvilic says exactly the same things in exactly the same tone of voice for the
yeah,
Okay.
like I
Cardassians,
feel
right?
like getting I think we would all go as a group to make sure we got the rest of the prisoners beamed up just in case because, better to
Absolutely.
have a full security team there before we return to the ship.
Let's assume that you are at the comms to communicate with the Cardassian crew people.
Okay.
How are you doing this, Devel? Because this would kind of be your role on
All right,
this.
yeah. So she's just going to be straightforward, like suggested. This is Lieutenant DeVell of the starship Kintsugi. We've noticed that there was an accident of some sort, and your ship is in need of help, but we can provide transportation off of this planet.
Devel, I think this is presence plus command with your etiquette as a focus.
Okay. Ah, what's the
I think the
what's the
difficulty
difficulty?
is two.
Okay. Do I give you a threat or not? You know, you've got plenty of threat. I'm gonna just,
You've got an
I'm gonna
away
just,
mission reroll.
okay. I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit. Let's use my green Orion dice. Oof. Jeez.
You've
Well,
The
got an
reroll.
away mission reroll.
I do. And it was,
Presence plus command. So that
so
is
neither of those
neither of those
succeeded.
succeeded.
Yeah,
So spend two of those,
I
reroll.
will. I will. Okay. Let's try different dice then. I got a success.
A success.
That 10 being upside down was very upsetting to me.
So
Well,
I think that there is a communication there, and then you hear gunfire,
oh no.
and then it gets quiet, and there's no more comms.
All right. We tried diplomacy. Now, as Captain Ward likes to say, I say what Captain Ward likes to say, you know. We tried the off olive branch, but so is our mission, does our well, I guess they cut off
Your
the
mission brief
comms,
is to
but
rescue everybody. Yes.
okay, rescue everybody. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
And
the start
and
of
to get information from the computers or
And
material,
yeah,
right?
material in the cargo bay and
Yeah.
stuff. So,
all
so
right.
I
I
think we
forgot
will
about
see
all
you.
that.
That with that failure, I think we'll see you open up the door and make your team will make your way in, and
hmm
you will smell the smell of disruptor fire, and you will find uh, a one surviving Cardassian. It does look like the captain, the Gull, was going to surrender. It looks like there was objections raised, and there is a crossfire here, and the Gull is dead, and there is a very badly wounded Cardassian who clearly didn't want to be taken prisoner by the Federation, but uh, he's bleeding out.
Uh, yeah. Okay, we got to do some, I guess, emergency medicine, try
And
to
yeah,
stabilize
emergency medical transport. You can have him transported out. We will assume that Mr. Varick,
his on
immediately
site.
sets to that. But I want to
Okay,
cut to the end bit of this moment
of course.
because I think we'll see you all. You've got that secured, and we will see you move down towards the back of the ship. You've been told, someone is getting the computer details off of the ship, and we'll see you move. We'll see Savari knows these ships, knows how to pop open doors here, like She has the skills, and we'll see you pop open the cargo bay door, and there are, of course, classic, crates in that Star Trek fashion that are knocked over, but there is a light in here when you come in, and Sivari will see this cracked open case,
Oh no, wow, okay. Is that
and
what
you
I
will
think it is?
see there is an orb laying there in the middle of the cargo bay. And that is where we are cutting to the end of this, to the commercial break in the middle of the episode. And that is where we're going to take up next time. Sound good? Oh, how many lights? Thank you. Thank you for the Cardassian joke there. So we'll take up next time with everyone back on the ship, the orb secured, and what happens next, and we'll play that out. We should have Mr. Varric back next time. Uh, Sound good? Okay. I would like to do a quick stars and wishes. Um, Devel, can I start with you?
Sure. I think your stars for Ward just having to put up with Haskell and just like, no, no. All right. But I really love Savari's like, hey, Tatasa, I've got this theory for changing how the binary is so old fashioned. Let's do a thing. And Tatasa's like, all right, let's just run a simulation. Let's do don't get ahead of yourself. Let's see how the simulation turns out. And lol, this is like crazy, some nice twists and turns. I'm like, oh yeah, of course, that's the Maquis. Wait, there's a Ryan Maquis, sure, but it's like the orb thing. That's a fun setup. So I'm excited, and of course, I love that I did not succeed. So
Yes.
I get to feel bad.
hmm Yeah. I even have a picture of him. Poor Gull. He's in the NPC tab, but now he's
I
dead.
know. Well, yeah, it's an X goal.
Yes, X Gull. Uh, Anything wishes wise for next time?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. It's our last session. I don't want it to end, but
Okay.
uh. Yeah, I guess like I don't know. I think Devel's probably gonna have to do some counseling.
Devel cancel. Okay. Savari.
Yeah, stars all around. I really loved it. I loved Ward trying to, Ward being a professional about the Haskell thing, even though it was pretty clear that she would have left nothing less than to punch him a few times, just, for good measure. And I also loved Develop's stepping into the leadership role. That was fun to see. Yeah, and I love I love the thing at the end with, oh, it's an orb. Of course it's an orb. I love seeing orbs. So yeah, and I would love to sort of interact with it. I mean, one orb experience, two orb
Hmm.
experiences. I mean, come
All
on,
right.
the prophets want this.
Absolutely.
Probably.
We will definitely get that in the cards for you next time. And Ward slash Tavilic.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think that, as I said during one of our breaks, this is the return that our characters were dreading, or at least my character was dreading, but my player, me, let's say, was looking forward to. Yeah, um, um, and yeah, I think it was a lot of good rolling on the approach, even though there was a lot of spending of determination. So eventually, some good rolling. Um, but I'm sure, Lowell, you have some nice curveballs for us next week, one way or the other. Um,
We've got some
and
Cardassians, some Maquis, a traitorous captain,
oh my,
and an orb on your vessel, and you're going to have to try and sneak out of Cardassian space.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Smells like season finale to me, right?
Yes.
And as for wishes, yeah, I don't know. Is it maybe before the shit hits the fan, we can see Ward and Tatassa, like, I don't know, breathe a temporary sigh of relief that Haskell is off their ship. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Um,
Actually, it would be good to have a Tatasa Ward scene to talk about Haskell too. I think at some point. I think that would be a really good moment
Yeah, yeah.
there. And of course, there's always uh, Mr. Varick's counseling on all of this. We'll probably start with Mr. Varick, like performing emergency medicine on our Cardassian wounded, but we'll go there. All right, I'm going to stop the recording.